As it gets darker and colder here in the northern hemisphere, a better time to get cozy. This one's going to be a very chill autumn studio vlog, so grab a mug of tea and a plush blanket. I always think that people's favorite seasons are the ones they're born in, and I am no exception. Last week, at least at the time that I filmed this, was my birthday, which would account for why my apartment looks a bit like a florist shop right now. As part of the festivities, a few friends and I managed to catch the Great Pumpkin this year, which has taken place in Fort Greene Park for the past 30 years. And despite being a native New Yorker, this is my first time in attendance. Some great puns, visual and otherwise, and this year David Byrne's big suit was the winner.
Keep it on, Samantha.
I bet Samantha wants a bone right now.
I'm stowing the rest of my birthday memories tightly away in ye old memory banks for use during sad season. Usually seasonal affective disorder hits me a bit hard, so I'm doing my best to catch the daylight bright and early and practice my inner gym rat on a regular basis. But since I'm in between bookings this week, I thought it would be a good day to film. This matcha milk jam, which is not really a jam at all and feels more like a hazelnut spread, was part of a very sweet birthday gift, and although I've never had a spread like this before, I have to say it's so good on toast. Don't worry, Sumi. I would never forget your breakfast. One small cat fed, and it's off to the gym for me. Freshly showered, let's get to some art stuff. This week, I'm going to be judging the first round of entries for Society of Illustrators. While judging for a prestigious award within the illustration industry was not part of my 2023 bingo card, it's an honor to be on a panel for the institutional category, as well as get a sneak peek into how the selection process works. The imposter syndrome, she is strong, but right now I'm just reading over the details of the process and what I need to know about the voting. After my gym session, I also stopped at a local pet store to pick up some litter for Sumi and a few of her favorite treats. She loves chasing these springs around my apartment, particularly around midnight. Well, she's made her stance clear on the matter, and with that, let's spring into a new color pencil drawing. Lately, I've been reading A Swim in a Pond in the Rain by George Saunders. It's a book that relays many of his insights as a creative writing professor. While I haven't read Saunders' other books, this one is sort of a critical lens on creative writing, examining in particular some of the author's favorite Russian stories, I suppose from the 19th and 20th centuries. Although I originally borrowed it because of a TikTok that talked about creative writing, I sort of let it sit on my hold shelf until I had about 3 days to return it. But I wish I'd started it a bit sooner. I really like its approach. It asks friendly, curious questions that guide you through the reading material. Talking less of plot, it asks, what is the author trying to tell us with this and that detail? I know, it's like I'm back in a college literature class. The book asks the question of everything, likening an author to a juggler who has just thrown their pins in the air by throwing us into the first sentence. And each subsequent pin they catch gives us one more detail, which informs the tacit questions we ask as readers. A good work, he seems to argue, is self-aware of the questions its readers might ask, and will go about answering these questions over the course of a read. Although I'm still making my way through it, I'm curious where all of this examination will lead. The questions it poses are gentle and prodding, weighing every detail of the sample works. After reading A Swim in the Pond in the Rain, I'd like to ask similar questions of my art and my comics. And much like this girl emerging from the forest with an apple, hopefully creating things will become clearer to me. But enough of that. Let's get outside and draw. I've long been in need of a camera bag, so I was delighted when this one was gifted by Brevity in time for my birthday. The green is a bit more vivid in person, sort of a sage color, which I'm very fond of. I've got to say, I've never owned a bag with so many compartments. While the biggest chamber has Velcro partitions to secure lenses and a camera body, there's also a compartment perfect for holding my MacBook or iPad, as well as my current reading. But wait, there's also a pocket for my tea? If there's any downside to this bag, it's that sometimes I can't remember what compartment I've put a thing in. But I'm very excited for future jaunts with it. A big thank you to Brevity, and if you're looking for a new camera backpack, you can catch a link to the bag in the description box. In an attempt to catch the very last of favorable picnic weather, I'm headed to Prospect Park to catch the last rays of the day. Not only do I love fall in the Northeast, but the people and dog watching on the Great Lawn is top tier. I was able to finish a few thumbnail sketches for potential personal pieces before the sun called it quits. Let's head over to the Brooklyn Public Library for some more sketching. Currently, the Central Branch is decked out in honor of Brooklyn's own Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, aka Hove. After a little more drawing, let's head back home. I wanted to do a little more work on this piece that I had started on my iPad, but I'll be bringing it into Photoshop on my Mac to fine-tune some of the details. Not to be dramatic, but sometimes art making, or a life of art making, feels a bit like flying with tattered wings over a great long distance, never quite knowing when you'll need to land. The views are magnificent, and the other birds and flying vessels are full of tales of all they've seen, which winds have been fair and which have been spiteful. The weather can be unkind sometimes, the gusts choppy. What I'm getting at is that nipping insecurity. How long can I keep getting paid for my art, and can I sustain it? To be sure, they can be unhelpful questions to ask, but unfortunately, I think they're pretty normal, even for someone like me who's been doing this since 2016. And as the end of the year approaches quickly, there's one intrusive thought that always greets me. Looking back at the past 10 months, I wonder how come I don't feel like I've made very many pieces. Part of this is that I don't feel like I manage my time very well when it comes to personal pieces. It's hard to prioritize drawing for yourself when you're tired from drawing for clients. But also, why should I convince myself of what I did this year that was meaningful? Isn't living my life its own meaningful pursuit? I'm tired. I just want to be my own particular collection of atoms. And this collection of atoms is okay with sitting in relative stillness. With this piece finished, I may as well eat some leftover birthday cake. In addition to A Swim in a Pond in the Rain, I'm also reading A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, which is a great book to wind down with. It's a gentle, inquisitive little novella that follows the journey of a traveling tea monk who meets a robot in the wilderness. Their interactions pose questions about what it means to be human and what it means to be alive. It's a hopeful vision of the future where humans learn to live sustainably, one that's pleasant to imagine for yourself. In one final ode to fall, a friend and I recently woke up at dawn and drove to New Paltz, where we hiked the Bontecoop Crag Trail. It's probably some of the most challenging scrambling I've ever done on a trail before. The rock cliff's getting pretty tricky to navigate at times. But we made it to the top, and I did my very best Pokemon trainer pose. Check out this view. Thanks so much for watching. Till next time.